The Cleveland Browns have officially clinched the top wild card spot in the AFC, the number 5 overall spot. We'll break it down a little bit more and a little bit talk about an opponent after Week 18. Your latest LockOn Browns starts now.
You are Locked On Browns, your daily Cleveland Browns podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends, your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound, LGB, and the LOB, the Locked On Browns podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Your host, Jeff Lloyd, and I appreciate all of you who make Locked On Browns your first listen every single day. The everyday crowd, if you are not in by now, make a new plan, stand and subscribe to Locked On Browns YouTube channel. Show is always available, always free, wherever you get your podcasts. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use code all lowercase LockedOnNFL for our first deposit match up to $100. Cleveland Browns, top seed, AFC wild card, locked, loaded. That is handled. Even though the Cleveland Browns most likely are going to shut a lot of guys down next week in Cincinnati, which means there's a chance the Browns could lose the game, obviously. Even if the Buffalo Bills win and match them with 11 wins, the Buffalo Bills currently have a 2-game disadvantage in overall AFC play. The Browns are 8-3. The Bills are 6-5. Obviously, there's no way the Browns can get to 5 losses. There is no way the Bills can get to 8 victories with 1 game to play. So that is how that works. The Browns are locked, loaded there. There is still a lot to be determined. The AFC South right now is a 3-way tie. 3 teams locked in at 9 wins. Kansas City, and now keep in mind, we're talking right after the 1 o'clock slate, so I probably should have prefaced that. Kansas City currently playing the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals trying to keep themselves alive. A loss in Kansas City is pretty much going to done and bury them. Pittsburgh in Seattle. Kansas City, this kind of gets a little interesting for them. 1 win, Kansas City pretty much probably solidifies things for themselves, and then would lead to the AFC South winner being the number 4 overall seed. Congratulations to Baltimore Ravens, 13-3 to this point, miraculous regular season. Even with all the Browns went through this year, to get to 13-3 is saying something. I mean, you could look back to week 2, Thursday night football, a game the Browns obviously should have won, even though they did not play that clean or that tight on the offensive side of the ball. One they let away, certainly, 2 defensive touchdowns allowed in that game. You could look at the Seattle game. You could look at the Denver game. If Dorian Thompson-Robinson maybe had not left that game, you can always think back to the 1 loss at home to the Baltimore Ravens. Had Deshaun been able to go, had they known earlier in the week Deshaun wasn't able to go, and maybe gotten DTR a little bit more ready to go. But, we could play what ifs and, all this stuff all day long. 11-5 is still a hell of a strong regular season for a team that has had a revolving door of players coming in and out due to injury at the quarterback position, the offensive tackle position, the running back position, at times the defensive end position, at times the linebacker position, at times the cornerback position, at times the safety position. We're not throwing it back, guys. We're going to take this 11-5, and we're going to be just fine with it, as electric as it would be for there to be a playoff game in Cleveland Browns Stadium. Maybe it's something we set the bench a little bit for the 2024 season. Ravens just played really, really well. Absolutely bottle rocketed the Miami Dolphins today. Hung 56 on them. And I saw a couple of people, I can't believe the Ravens went for that last touchdown. Miami Dolphins hung 70 on the Denver Broncos this year. So Mike McDaniel, and look, Mike McDaniel's brash. Mike McDaniel's good. He's got a little bravado to him. Also makes him a mark. And also makes some people looking to basically knock him down a peg. And I think that's exactly what John Harbaugh and the Baltimore Ravens were looking to do today. Beat them soundly. They beat their butts in special teams. Their defense kicked their butts. Their offense kicked their butts. The Baltimore Ravens came out today and made a statement that they are the best team in the AFC. I will bring up this, though, for my Browns fans, and obviously all follow the AFC North. How did it work out the last time the Baltimore Ravens had the bye in the playoffs? Go back to a little history, because it didn't go so well. But for the Browns, and now you look towards, obviously, Week 18 here. There is no reason to play Joe Flacco. I don't know what you're going to do at the tackle position, because you're already playing tackle 4 and 5. You don't want these guys to get hurt. Of course, they could certainly use the reps, of course. And where do you find tackle 6 and 7 at this point? Joel Bitonio, love you, Joel. Take the week off. Posick, you have Nick Harris. You obviously have Whippler. Ethan Posick, take the week off. Wyatt Teller, take the week off. Joe's getting the week off. I'm probably not playing Jerome Ford. Amari Cooper, heel, out. Elijah Moore, concussion. Could have really been a serious chance he was out anyway. Out. David Njoku, out. So that's the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, Myles Garrett, bye-bye. Zadarius Smith, bye-bye. Ogbo, even if he was ready to go, not a chance in hell. Dalvin Tomlinson, bye-bye. No work for you. Jeremiah Usu-Koramoah, week off. Sione Takitaki, week off. Denzel Ward, week off. The other two corners, you want to sit them? Sit them. Juan Thornhill, sit down. And that kind of gives you an idea of the lineup the Browns are going to put out next week in Cincinnati. Don't care. It's nice to be in a position where you can say, we don't have to play our guys. Nothing will change for the Cleveland Browns. Not one thing will change for the Cleveland Browns with this game with Cincinnati. You go down there, get it in, get it out, start making your way back home, and figure out for sure just exactly who you're going to be lacing it up against, whether it is Saturday, Sunday, Monday, the second weekend of January in the 2023 AFC playoffs. It's going to be a shorter one here today. Just trying to give you the status quo for where we're at right now. Jeff Lloyd, your latest Locked On Browns. Don't go anywhere. PrizePicks is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. We are the easiest and most exciting way to play DFS. It's just you against the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, you pick more than or less than on a 2 to 6 player stat projection, and you can watch the winnings roll in. Do you want to play alongside some of PrizePicks' favorite players like rapper Meek Mill and comedian Andrew Schultz? You can now find community plays under the promos tab of the app to view entries from some of the biggest names in the PrizePicks community each week. PrizePicks even offers a reboot policy so that your entries stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. For football and basketball games, if you have a player who exits the game in the first half and does not return in the second, that player is rebooted. PrizePicks is the only daily fantasy sports platform with an injury insurance policy. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use code LockedOnNFL for a first deposit match up to $100. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use code LockedOnNFL for a first deposit match up to $100. The NFL regular season is wrapping up, but there's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. The app is so easy to use, and there are so many different ways to bet. You have live same-game parlays. Find bets in the new Explore tab. Make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, best way to find popular parlays, and so much more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Jeff Lloyd, your latest Locked On Browns. I will start with, obviously, my first Happy New Year's of the year. It's been a fantastic, obviously, year for the Cleveland Browns, for the coverage here on Locked On Browns. Me personally, a change in my, at-home situation. You guys have all been so supportive. I just cannot thank you all enough, of course, for making the show your first listen every single day. For all of you that are everydayers, and if you're not an everydayer, get on the bus, Gus, and subscribe to Locked On Browns YouTube channel. Of course, the show is always available, always free, wherever you get your podcasts. A lot of reflection this time of year. And I'm extremely, extremely fortunate to be the host of this show here through the Locked On Podcast Network. This network has never been anything less than great to me. And I have several and hundreds of colleagues, and we all feel the same way. We are treated like family. We are looked after, and we are taken care of. So David Locke, Ross Jackson, the two most prominent people for what I do here for Locked On, thank you. I truly appreciate you. Happy New Year's, gentlemen. Now, like I said, for the Browns, it's still a little tricky. The Kansas City Chiefs could lose out playing the Cincinnati Bengals, currently playing the Los Angeles Chargers next week. Yes, long shot. Yes, a long shot, possibly, for the Cleveland Browns for the Kansas City Chiefs to lose out. Do I believe it? Not so much. But again, anything is possible in the NFL. Here is the likely scenario for first week of the playoffs. In the AFC South, the Jacksonville Jaguars control their own destiny. They are the top. They would finish with the top division record. If they can beat the Tennessee Titans, the Cleveland Browns go down in Jacksonville, and we have a rematch with the Jaguars. If the Jacksonville Jaguars lose in Week 18 to the Tennessee Titans, the Cleveland Browns will then travel to Houston in a rematch in Houston with the Texans, who obviously look a lot better with C.J. Stroud in there, right, guys? Or a rematch in Indianapolis with the Indianapolis Colts. If somehow Kansas City loses both games, your AFC South winner would have 10 wins, which then means the Cleveland Browns would then be traveling to the fourth division champion, the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah. We want that AFC South winner, guys. So Kansas City, handle your business today against the Bengals. And honestly, just handle your business today against the Bengals. So we ain't got to hear from them no more. I don't want to hear it. Nobody else wants to hear it. Cincinnati, your year's over. Your year was over week one. Your year was over definitively when Joe Burrow, it all fell apart in Baltimore. But that is your scenario. Most likely traveling to the AFC South winner. Jacksonville controls their own destiny. Houston and Indianapolis, and then it's going to be a fight who's going to get this final remaining wild card spot. And that's going to be the tough spot here. The Bills at 10 wins most likely are in. And then you get to, Houston, you get to obviously the Colts, the Jaguars. It's going to be a tough road, man. There's going to be a good football team or two that's on the outside looking in. But one thing we ain't got to worry about, Browns fans, is we ain't fighting for nothing. Locked, loaded. Cleveland Browns are in. Top wild card seed in the AFC. It's been just a fun couple of days, still taking in everything that happened this year. Obviously, the monster victory Thursday Night Football. Joe Flacco and David Njoku just taking that game over early and basically just putting it on ice. Undrafted free agent rookie Ronnie Hickman. The play has been there. We've all seen it. And then you get an actual big-time play from a kid who's been playing really well. 30-yard interception return to the house. You got Jerome Ford back on his game, running around like a wild man. Kareem Hunt, 9 touchdowns on the season for the Browns. It's been a wild 2023 regular season. Got one to go. Obviously, for the Browns, it's going to be a tad bit diluted. But as always, beat the Bengals. Heck with the Bengals. Should make for a fun crossover this week with the boys. But it's just been an amazing year. And, like for me, and like I always joke, like my family, my wife, my kid, what do you want for Christmas? I just want Browns to win. When do you need anything? Yeah, I want the Browns to win. It's just so much more fun to talk about. It's just so much more fun to cover the excitement from all you fans. And, we all got to see it Thursday night. And I'll still say it. There was 67,000 plus in there. As the story goes on and the folklore goes on, we'll find out, that there was 375,000 people there at Thursday Night Football. And I'll let every one of you have your moment. It's been really, really good to this point. We're still going to bring you a full week of shows. It is New Year's Eve. Just wanted to get you guys something out there. I'll be back tomorrow with, an episode Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We're not walking away. We're walking stronger. We're getting more excited for what is to come here. The Cleveland Browns are headed to the 2023 AFC playoffs. Opponent to be determined. But one thing that is not to be determined is that the Cleveland Browns are going to come, and they're going to come and be ready to make some noise. I am Jeff Lloyd. I'm your host here now 7 years, by far the most exciting season I've had doing this. I appreciate you all who make LockOn Browns your first listen every single day. As you all know, if you are not part of the everyday crowd by now, it's a simple solution. Subscribe to LockOn Browns YouTube channel. Show is always available, always free, wherever you get your podcasts. This has been your daily delivery of all things dog pound. LGB on ELOB. Let's go Browns.